Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Squanto, A Warrior's Tale. This is from 1994. It's an hour and 41 minutes long, and it is the story of, well, Squanto. Well, don't know who Squanto is. He's another very real person from American history, Native American history. His name is not necessarily Squanto. It's I already messed it up. I can't even think what it's something Tusquantum. Tusquantum. There's been many variations on his name, depending on who's writing the story. But he's an important character from our history. Our history. Why should I say our history? I'm not Native American. Uh, World history, Native American history, and this is sort of a Thanksgiving movie. Believe it or not, it doesn't become apparent of that until the final moments of the film, when everybody just sits down and has dinner together. Two cultures, some from the Mayflower, and some from, of course, the land which they settled supposedly peacefully. Um, yeah, this is, by the way, not a documentary, even though it says biographical. Take that with a grain of salt. As I was watching this, I was doing some research, because these kind of things, when it deals with uh, non-white cultures, we tend to change things up to make it seem nicer and sweeter. And this is very much a whitewashed version of this character's history. It's by far not even comprehensive. It is entertaining. It is. I think it has good intentions. It has some facts, some truth to it. It's pretty much. Not really spoiling a whole lot, because again, this is based on history. It talks about there was a treaty between the immigrants and the Native Americans that it was signed, and it supposedly they lived in peace for two generations, but 50, 40 years later they pretty much broke that treaty and started killing people. So yeah, it's been a contentious, I'm really underselling this, a contentious history between the white man and the Native Americans. So yeah, if you want the truth, if you want a real story, the real story behind this, told from a number of different angles, research it, look it up. Um, but this story is meant to say, hey, this is a story of one guy's tale, kidnapped from his village in what seemed to be a peaceful exchange. Well, it's basically like, hey, look, we're white men in a boat, and things aren't always nice. We don't know, we're coming to the new world. Here's a bell. What do you guys got? And in exchange, they give him all sorts of gold, trinkets, and things like that that are from their people, from the new world. And as they start to load stuff onto the boat, they're like, get 5 men to help us load stuff. Like, one guy goes, we got plenty of guys on our team to handle it. Get 5 men to help. And by the way, the man who's giving that command, his name is, come on, bring him up, come on. There he is. He was playing Captain Hunt, but it's Mark Margolis, which you might recognize as, I can't remember his name, but he's the old man in the wheelchair from Breaking Bad. And with ding, 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 yeah, him. He's looking much younger in this, but no less grizzled. And so, yeah, he's very much a bad guy. And in helping carry some of that treasure onto the ship, guess what? Those guys don't get to leave the boat, and they tackle them and enslave them and take them to the old world. Uh, this is where the story kind of gets cut up and rearranged and whitewashed again. Of course, they're meant to be enslaved. They're taken to Sir George, who's played by Michael Gambon. If you know who Michael Gambon is, it's Dumbledore. It's the later Dumbledore in the series after the first one died. But Michael Gambon plays a very colorful Englishman who treats human beings like cattle and wants to use them for the entertainment of the masses, the riffraff, as he calls them, just to make money off of them. And of course, he sees them as livestock, as his people all see anybody with brown skin as livestock. So, yeah, that's real. That is very real. We don't own America doesn't own the whole brown people or objects to be owned as part of our history. We just exported it. So, we didn't export it, we imported it. Yeah. Or they exported it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Either way, of course, he gets locked up. Squanto gets locked up, along with another guy. Some other slaves, Native Americans, got given away or traded away to somebody else. But he and one other guy are kept for entertainment. And Squanto and he try to escape. And of course, Squanto's the only one who makes it. The other guy stays behind. And we see his storyline as it goes. But Squanto escapes, nearly dies, and he's taken in by a cloister of monks, cloister friars, monks, which includes Mandy Patinkin, from Princess Bride, maybe Homeland, things like that. So Mandy Patinkin is a monk, along with, I gotta mention, a guy that's familiar to a lot of people, Stuart Pankin. He's in a ton of Disney stuff, just tons of Disney stuff. And this is very much a Disney film. But yeah, you'll recognize a lot of the monks. Of course, they take him in out of the kindness. They heal him. They shelter him. Meanwhile, kind of the lead monk, he's kind of ornery, and he believes this is a devil. This is a monster. This is something less than human. Again, because they're not used to seeing creatures from the New World, because they have brown skin. Because nobody has brown skin in England, apparently. Even though in history these are supposed to be Spanish monks, there's a whole different thing. In fact, in reality, the monks purchased the Native Americans, Squanto. I don't recall the reasoning why they purchased them. Now I do. They wanted to make them Christian, so they wanted to Christianize them, and then maybe send them back to Christianize more of the Indians. So, were they using that term? Yeah, I mean, the New World was founded already, but yeah, it's Columbus really screwed up the language. But yeah, don't ever take this as a real history at all whatsoever. It shows the potential as an alternate reality, shows the potential of what could have been something good coming out of Squanto being kidnapped and enslaved, which is just a horrible concept in itself. But yeah, it's telling a nice story. And it's not a bad film, actually. You're rooting for Squanto. You like the monks and what they're willing to sacrifice in order to protect him once they realize that he's not a monster. He's just got slightly different colored skin and doesn't speak their language and has a different god. There is moments, and speaking of religion, not to get too into that, but there's a moment in the film, and I'm not going to say where, but somebody's injured, and at the time that they're trying to heal and help this person from dying, a mixture of Native Americans and very Christian Spaniards or Englishmen, because they all speak English, not Spanish, but they're all praying to their god at the same time. It's overlapping, so they're doing their own rituals. It shows that all the rituals are different. The intent is the same. They're praying to a higher power to heal, and it shows that we're not so different. We just do it different ways. That's the intent of the scene, anyway. At least I think this movie is trying to say a number of things, even though it does twist a bit of history in order to fit something into an under 2 hour epic. I think at one point it did seem to go on a bit long, but it had to reach the point toward the end where Squanto does return to North America, into New England, where he was originally found, um, and able to give a speech. He's able to give a speech that sort of sums things up. I find it kind of cool that they did not have any of the Native Americans speak English when they would communicate with each other at all. Um, only only in voiceover when Squanto was giving kind of a narration at the beginning to tell his tale in a sense. And once he learned how to speak English due to the monks, he was speaking English obviously. And so in order to remain real, it didn't decide to. I think they subtitled a little bit here and there. Yeah, they did. They did subtitle some of the Native American language, but for the most part, when they're just conversating between them and you understand the intent of the tone and everything else, you understand they don't need to be translated. So it's good that they stuck with that. One little tidbit here that I find really interesting is that supposedly at some point, even though it doesn't happen in this movie, Squanto runs into Pocahontas in England. Yeah. But that's not in this movie. The reason why I'm saying this is that he has a wife he inadvertently leaves behind. He didn't mean to. Her name is Nakuma, and Nakuma is portrayed by Irene Bedard. Now, some of you Disney fans will know exactly who that is. Why is that important? Because she's Pocahontas, at least in the animated movie. So Irene Bedard, this is before Pocahontas was made. She was already playing a Native American. She's not a princess or anything, but she's a Native American woman in live action. So this movie probably got her the job as portraying Pocahontas in the Disney film. So hey, go Irene. And by the way, she's just as gorgeous as Pocahontas in the animated movie. Seriously, just astounding. She has a very small part in the film, unfortunately. I would have liked to see more with her. When it comes to how they... Yeah, you know what? There's so many discrepancies between reality and what this movie says. I'm not going to go into any deeper. You can research it yourself. You can see where it breaks from reality. But if you're going to watch this film, again, don't treat it as reality. Treat it as a fun slavery, as an adventure film that sort of mimics reality. So, yeah, there you go. That's Squanto, a warrior's tale, and he's Adam. By his name is Adam Beach. Is his name? Plays Squanto. Does a great job of just playing a guy who's a fish out of water in a new land, or an old land, as it is. One of the fun things about this is that so many people, just upon seeing him, not fun, that's not a fun thing. One of the unsettling but interesting parts of this is that because of the skin color, I can't believe that there had been nobody with darker skin in England at any point is in the 1600s. I don't understand that, but either way, they all immediately consider him a beast, an animal. It's something completely different, even though he has every aspect of humanity visibly, just color of skin. It's mind-boggling to me. I mean, I realize. I mean, it's very much like in Squanto seeing these Englishmen. It's like meeting aliens for the first time. It's just Vulcans coming down. We're doing first contact. Yeah, I understand they got pointy ears, but we don't immediately go, these guys are monsters, or superior, because, well, they got a spaceship, a really good spaceship. I just don't maybe that's one sign that we've come far enough to go, hey, you know what, somebody with slightly different skin, they are human, right off the bat. Of course, we still have people like in modern day that don't see that, so we really haven't come that far. Okay, social commentary done. let's. Oh, we're not going to pick tomorrow's episode. You know why? Because tomorrow's Friday and Jungle Cruise is coming out. So I've already got my ticket. I'm not going to watch it. It's available tomorrow on Premiere Access on Disney Plus, but I'm going to the theaters because for now they haven't shut everything down yet. Again, because people are unvaccinated. Boy, I'm touching on a lot of social topics right now in this one. But yeah, I'm going to the movies tomorrow or tonight. God, well, I'm doing it tonight because that's when I have the tickets. But it'll be available tomorrow, maybe a little earlier than usual. Anyway, Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.